the difference if the president himself was moving around
the president himself is equally an interested party.
Okay.
What is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. If you say that, if I say in my house that my wife should not go to XYZ because of this, I should be able to make sure that the laws are there to by living by example. That is the point this morning. You see, this idea of having strong men rather than the strong decision, that is what is putting us at this very conundrum.
How much impact will that have? What transpired? Sorry? How much impact will it have on the contesting parties now, those that want to take up the elections in court? How much impact will the things you've stated now have on their court case?
You see, I am not a lawyer, and I don't want to be one. I think I would have done that immediately after my first degree in international study, but I have since deviated from that line. But let me quickly say this: it is on video. There are video evidence that he moved from one polling unit to another.
Yes.
You see, that has a way of influencing the electorate. You know, for us that grew up in the village, I'm a village person. I grew up in the village. In my own election, the present deputy governor, as he currently was parading himself, moving from one unit, and I accosted him at one polling unit and in the INEC office that resulted to a physical altercation. And I asked the national INEC commissioner that came from Abuja, is he not part of you people? Have you not enlisted him to be one of the officers that moved from unit to unit? They said no. Then they told him to excuse us, perhaps to leave there. Because I, as a candidate, have a right, because it was my election.
So if Wike was not challenged when he was moving around...
No, see, that is the issue. That's why I love...
No, the question I'm asking
that's why I love...
Who then are you going to blame?
The man that spoke first. I love him. I align with him totally. The issue of the opposition, I think they need to go back to the people. I have been saying this. You know, one of the challenges I have since I find myself, in politics. I've said it that I'm an accidental politician.
Yes.
I apply myself here is speaking truth to power.
Okay.
That there's a saying, Bible records that in the days, I think it's somewhere in Matthew. I'm not a worker. But I know I go to church. So in the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God first suffered violence, and the violent want to get it by force. When our Lord Jesus Christ met some persons doing trade in the temple, I'm coming, sir, in the temple of the gospel. I'm coming. Let me learn with this thought.
Go ahead.
He turned the table upside down and drove there. I said, don't turn my father's house to a den of thieves. What that means, they would have been able to challenge Wike. If I had to be in Abuja, I would have challenged Wike, because he's just a citizen, just the way I'm a citizen. Because I'm more a citizen because taxpayers, we are paying with our taxpayers' money. I have more stake than him, as we speak very just now. So the issue is this: we must learn to speak out. I've said it here and in other sister stations. Your destiny is your.
Let me ask you.
A closed mouth is a closed destiny.
Yes, of course.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you, a village boy that you are, you might need to come to the city and join the city boys.
God forbid.
You would rather remain a village boy.
I want to be a village so I can be eating fresh food and everything.
Okay.
Everything fresh.
Okay. But now let's, looking at the campaign leading up to Saturday's by-elections, some would say that the coalition under the ADC and other opposition parties did not campaign much. They did not tell the people what they would offer differently, as against what we saw from the ruling party. The APC tended to have campaigned a whole lot more than opposition parties. And do you think that the bandwagon effect of Peter Obi in the 2023 election that made a lot of Labour Party aspirants win elections, but later moved away from the Labour Party in the National Assembly into the APC, do you think that has affected how people see opposition now, seeing that even the ADC has a lot more of the Labour Party members, Obedient Movement, and a few others inside the ADC. You think that that led to voter apathy that we saw?
Quickly say this. I'll view it from. You see, the people are wiser now from the fallout of the OB movement in 2023. If you take your statistics,
okay,
those that rode under the shoulders of OB movement, they have since joined the dining table eating jollof rice in Aso Rock. So there is a trust. There's a deficit trust from that angle. And again, the opposition are not doing enough. They believe that the OB movement, that what happened in 2023 will play out. Perhaps they are not. That is one of the reasons they are not living, up to board by doing it as opposition. I don't know if you are getting me. That is the point. Because if you see what is happening, the opposition are more relaxed. Those that are doing opposition, campaigning like opposition, are the government in power. If you cast your mind back, this president has been saying just barely 8 months or 7 months in office when they started this shenanigan of campaigning till very just now, as if they are in opposition. I have had a call to be at the forum where I admonished the coalition that we should cast our mind back and look at a build-up of the ZACN, then CPC, and now APC during 2014, 2015 election, where the opposition, they were in the streets. If some of us, they galvanized some of us in the subsidy removal of the Jonathan era. The opposition are not doing like the tax law, the tax act that as we speak very just now is still shredded in secrecy. It's enough for all the opposition.
Now let me take now that you brought us here. Sorry, you want to land on your thoughts. You want to land on your thoughts. Let me
land on my thought.
Okay.
The bottom line is this: that the opposition are not doing enough. The opposition had many, the reasons to galvanize Nigerian people, the civil society, the religious body, because there are enough reasons, there are enough failures, there are enough lacuna, there are enough deficits in the part of
to have, two different sides to this.
We are not amplifying. We are not amplifying.
The opposition is not amplifying. Well, we seem to have two different sides to this, because you're saying the opposition is not challenging this administration. In your opinion, the administration has not done enough. But we have somebody who is from diaspora and is right here with us in the studio saying, look, the policies of this administration is laudable and this administration should be, complimented. How do you view that statement?
I heard my lovely sister. I had my lovely sister from another mother when she alluded to that fact, and I laughed as a village man. She tried to point out some the loan and what have you. As a living being and a very active participant, since my inroad into politics, this present administration, we must be very frank to ourselves. This is a man that we said is a Democrat. Everything about him is autocratic, is in reverse. Is the opposite of a Democrat. That is the gospel truth. A man that appropriates, that go into a spending without appropriation. There are series, there are cases, there are issues, there are many, talk left, right, center, that many of the things that he go into, there are no appropriation. Like in the area of health, you heard what the minister said. Among what released to the health sector of the country, there is a certain percentage of your budget as put forward by the UN that you must set aside of your financial budget, which is that's a far cry from it. So for us, when my sister said it just now, that there are lofty policies or programs or wherever, for me, I would have loved her to say, okay, XYZ.
Okay.
You see, when you are talking about lofty ideas, that is not trickling down, that is not translating, that is not affecting the ordinary Nigerians, there is a problem. If it's just there for the elites, That is an elitist policy, not a people-driven policy.
Does it give you the impression? Does it give you the impression that Nigerians
the problem is this.
Diaspora
Let me start with this thought.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem. I think my sister will take this home. That the so-called SYZ policies or programs of this government is in search of. Is in search of. You can't hear me.
Yes. No, I can hear you. Go on.
It's in search of destiny. That is the gospel truth. Because the Nigerian people are not feeling the impact. The people are hungry.
People are hungry.
But Humphrey, I will appeal that just go. I still enter this small bus in my state to hear from the people. I'm not far from the people. I'm still very close to the people. I was in my village two days ago. The people are hungry, and when Oshomola said that the people
we're running out of time for this conversation. I must say a very big thank you to you, comrade.
Thank you very much.
Honorable comrade, as I like to call you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, then.
Thank you.
Well, we'll have a few things fixed at your end. We'd like for you to stay with us as we get into the next conversation. But let me bring this back to our studio guest here, Fumi. Now, let's talk away from politics now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, very briefly, about technology. Women in tech, that's, why women in tech, really? Why not youth in tech? Wouldn't that be all-encompassing? And how much would you say that this administration has invested in technology to the, because we see a situation, like my colleague asked earlier, we are going into elections. And one of the reasons that was given for the, one of the reasons given why the BVAS and IREV may not work is because there are certain parts of the country where technology hasn't, where internet access is lacking. And we heard the president say, look, I mean, it's broadband hasn't gotten to certain places, even though some feel that was indicting of the president to say that because he's in power now. He should have created an enabling environment for players in the industry to ensure that internet broadband gets to everywhere, every part of the country. How much is what is this administration doing to ensure that Nigerians in the hinterlands have access to internet? Because if you want to talk technology, we have to talk internet access first.
Okay. First of all, I would like to answer. Thank you very much. I'd like to answer the first question. Why you said why girls in tech and why not youth in tech? First of all, for me, it stemmed from my own personal story. In the United Kingdom, I was looking for a job. I couldn't find a job, and the only I think as at that time in 2018 there was the EU GDPR, which is the Data Protection Act that came into effect, and which opened up loads of jobs for so many people. And that was how I was able to get in. And in the bit of me trying to obviously fit in and get a job, I realized that there were very few women in technology. So I got trained. I started as a data protection officer. Then from there, I went into information security, then cyber security. So every time I went for interviews, I realized that I was against like maybe 10 other men. And the only women you would see are Indians, not even the white women, not even the black women or the African women, so much of the Indian women. So obviously I've done quite a lot. I've had loads of experiences in the United Kingdom, and I said, why don't I bring it home? And the reason is also because a lot of young girls think tech is hard. They think, oh, I have to do coding, I have to do frontline developer, and because I've had experiences both in the technical and the non-technical aspect, so my position here is to show girls the other side of it. So if you don't want to go into core tech, there is the other side of it. So that's the first question. Now, what is the government doing? First of all, I would say, is it just the government alone? There is the part that the government has to find a way to bring private investors in as well, because the government cannot do it all. If we look at it, even in the Western world, the people who are actually helping to develop the tech industry in the Western world are more of the private.
So it's about government creating enabling.
Exactly. So it's about the government creating the enabling environment for private investors to.
But the environment, like my colleague said, sorry, I'm going to take you back there. You know, the government, in creating an enabling environment, we've lost some investors.
Yes, we've lost some investors. So that means they have to go back into their strategy. What strategy are they using that is making the investors leave? Is it that maybe the tax reform or the electricity or whatever it is that they have created?
We're running out of time. But what do you, in women, you know, when you talk about women in tech, ladies in tech, girls in tech, and the rest of them, I look around and on social media, you see a lot of women doing, you know, trying to get monetized and putting out content, and you know, a lot of nudity is out there. Is that part of?
That's the reason. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I started Niger Girls in Tech, to change that narrative that girls don't have to expose their personal privacy out there in order to get monetized or to make money. There are more ethical ways and moral ways that you can make this money if you are being trained. And that's why we're creating this awareness. We're training girls that this is the best way to come into. Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Let's quickly run to another final conversation for today. Serap urges Tinubu to withdraw unlawful mass surveillance regulation. This basically speaks to checking out phone conversations and the rest of them. Let's touch on this when we come back from this break. And giving them a voice, from the views on the streets.
We go to bed empty hunger.
To the blaring horns of a hustling city. The loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports,
Welcome back, and you're still watching VOP this morning. The Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on President Bola Tinubu to withdraw the Lawful Interception of Communications Regulations 2019, citing concerns over mass surveillance and human rights violation. SERAP's request follows allegations by former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai that the National Security Advisor's phone conversation was intercepted. The organization argues that the regulations grant overly broad powers to intercept communications, violating Nigerians' rights to privacy and freedom of expression. The regulations have raised concerns, especially with the 2027 general elections approaching, as they could be used to intimidate political opponents, journalists, and civil society actors. SERAP has given the government 7 days to respond, threatening legal action in the regulation if the regulations are not withdrawn. And we still have Fumi here. Fumi, I would like to take you on this. You know, a lot of Nigerians depend on WhatsApp and Signal because of the end-to-end encryption. So should this be adhered to, do you think the government will be able to intercept this and have this bidding done?
Can you explain what you're trying to...
Okay, a lot of Nigerians take to WhatsApp and Signal because of privacy, because of the end-to-end encryption. And with this call by SERAP, should the government, play to SERAP's demand Do you think that it can be intercepted, that privacy? Do you think the government can be able to, take away the privacy clause that you have with WhatsApp and Signal?
No, I don't think the government should take, if I'm getting you correctly, I don't think anything privacy should be taken off, because data protection is very key to every Nigerian. And I think the Nigerian Data Protection Act really informs people about their rights. So you should have rights to your data and how a particular organization or the government is using your data. So they should not take anything about privacy. In fact, I think they should even create more awareness on people's privacy and how organizations handle people's data while they are collecting, processing, and handling it. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Let's move over to Abuja, where we have Mr. Aaron Ikpe. He's a management strategist and political analyst. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm sure you heard Serap's demands. What do you make of this?
Well, it's, the society will always evolve, and with a lot of, and also popping up. The truth there is that if this whole thing has not happened, all of these issues wouldn't have come up. So it's good that the society is becoming more aware of issues, their rights, and all of that. The rights to human rights and various rights are always available, and it's the duty of the government to also protect, the rights of her citizens, and also to strictly follow the rules of engagement, or let me say the law as it is, because the law is not just meant for the citizen; it's also for the government to also follow. So when it comes to rights to information, there's rights to information as well. And then when it comes to rights to privacy, there should also be right to privacy. And then the government should also be sure that individual rights are protected, and except there are security breaches. So these rights should be out there, stated very clearly, and such that it's glaring and it's very clear. So there should be that awareness, sensitization, and if you have for any reasons to my or to I should be aware. I should be aware. And if for whatever reason you want to use that data, I think there should be a procedure. So these things are not clearly stated. People are not even really aware of, all of these rights and all of that. So I want to put it that it's the duty of the government to actually create more awareness on whatever they want to do, with your rights, with the information, with the data they are collecting, from individuals. A lot of people resort to WhatsApp calls now because of that privacy, So,
all right.
Yes.
Now, this issue basically came up because of statements made by Malam Nasir El-Rufai. He's saying that he monitored, not he himself, but, certain individuals monitored the conversation of Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor, and they heard things said, and Serap is saying, look, government in itself monitors Nigerians all the time. But some would say that, well, Serap is saying without court orders and the rest. But some Nigerians will say, look, isn't it the duty of government and its agencies to monitor and to forestall what might lead to a breakdown of law and order? So where do we place, that responsibility of the government when you talk about trying to regulate how government monitors conversations and infringing on people's rights as well? Where do we draw the line, basically?
Okay, I didn't get that clearly. Sorry.
Where do we draw the line between trying to monitor, conversations and the rest of them to forestall what might be a breakdown of law and order, what might be termed a national security issue, from infringing on people's rights? Where do we draw the line? Very quickly, please.
Well, there are two sides to it. For security reasons.
Can you give us your response in 1 minute?
Okay, I think for security reasons, the government will tell you they do this for security reasons.
Yes.
But before you tap into someone's or to use someone's data or whatever information, it's important that you seek consent and the right, not just monitoring everyone's conversation, just randomly.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Aaron Ikpe. Thank you very much. We'd like for you to stay with us as we get into newspaper review. But let me quickly go back to Benin City, where we have a comrade, Destiny Anabolede. Comrade, are you still with us?
Thank you.
Or do we still have Comrade Destiny with us? I think we've lost connection to Comrade Destiny Anabolede. We'll probably re-establish contact with him. But this is how far we can go, really, on VOP this morning. This is all we have time for. VOP this morning. We must say a very big thank you to Comrade Ikpe, Aaron Ikpe, management strategist and public affairs commentator, and also thanks to Destiny Anabolede for his contribution as well. We had Barrister Darlington Agomo much earlier in the day, and we must also appreciate Fumilayo Ogunwo Adesonya for coming on the program. She's the CEO, founder, and chief executive officer of Naija Girls in Tech, and also an advocate bridging the gender gap in technology across African nations. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's it on the show today. Newspaper review comes up next in about a few minutes. We'll be delving into the papers. I am Moses Humphrey. I'll see you again at 10.
I'm Jane Ogoye. Thank you for watching. Please stick around with us at 10.
I am Chukwuma Okoro. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. entertainment like never before.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV.